we're going to talk about some shit that George and I love, and that is college football. And I don't know, since I've been on this planet and alive, if I've ever seen a college football, especially a college bowl season that was exciting as this season. It was fucking incredible, dude.
It was great. It was great top to bottom. I mean, it was wonderful. Unfortunately, in my opinion, it was marred by a certain ex-Florida Gator last night. I don't ever want to see him in front of a microphone unless he's asking questions about a rape case. That was unfortunate to watch. God bless him, because that's what he's all about, and I wish him the best in his future broadcasting career. But I think he ranks right up there with that god awful piece of shit who I had to listen to two games in a row dealing with the Eagles.
Oh yeah.
So, but
I think that in combination of the statements that AJ McCarron's mother did on Twitter, that shit was just like,
and
wow.
The thing that blows me away is that kid's from Alabama. Jameis Winston is from Alabama. So you're telling me you live in Alabama or you live in that region and you've never heard any. The kid's just country. He is country as shit.
It's country as shit. I mean, and this is the thing, George. You know, when you take a kid, and we'll roll into the, last night was obviously the national championship that Florida State won 34-31 over Auburn. When you talk about this kid as a freshman in college and being the only freshman ever to lead his team to the national championship and win the Heisman Trophy, you have to be a fucking intelligent person. This woman obviously doesn't know anything about the game and how much intelligence you have to play the quarterback position and to know the game and to know the plays and stuff like this. And it's not a thing of how articulate he is or not. It's the fact that, like you said, George, it's the region of the country he comes from. We know country bumpkins that talk like that, whether you're white, black, Asian, or East Indian. It doesn't matter. When you're from Alabama, Mississippi, or Louisiana, if you're on that Gulf, you're going to sound like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And just that comment, you really, she obviously deleted it, the Twitter comment, but you'd think, okay, where's this shit coming from? Like,
she ought to delete her fucking Twitter account. Keep your ignorance at home. Like, what is it? It's better to keep your mouth shut than remove all doubt, or there's something along those lines. Like, keep your stupid questions to yourself instead of asking them out loud. Like, yeah,
go ahead.
Now, I was just going to say, you're from that region. You can't tell me you haven't run across somebody that country, white, black, purple, or otherwise. And unfortunately, it's a white woman making a comment about a black youth. So, of course, it's going to be spun that way, which, in this case, here's my thing. Would she have said that about a white quarterback if he sounded the same way? That's the question you'd have to ask her. And, of course, she's going to go, yeah, of course I would.
Yeah, and more, I think more importantly, it's like, okay, if would you have said it about a quarterback that beat somebody from the SEC? That's, I think a lot of the fact that where, I don't know, I'm not going to go into it, but it just was an ignorant fucking comment. I mean, and I feel bad for her son, because when your parent makes a comment or does something like that,
stop.
What?
Stop.
What?
Do me a favor. Look at who AJ McCarron is sticking his wiener into.
I know. I mean, yeah, so she's fine as shit.
So therefore, I don't care what his mom or dad says ever.
But think about it,
he gets
George.
A pass.
Think about this. If people who know you and everybody and the people you have, your network of friends, and you played sports, and the people that you consider close, and if one of your parents went on national television or was broadcasted nationally, and they made an ignorant comment that went out, and it might not necessarily be the way you feel, think about that. It doesn't matter, if you're married to Jesse.
Let me tell you right now, I miss my calling in life, because I consider myself a professional liar, i.e. a PR person, and I would have spun that shit like none other. I'd have been out on Twitter going, look, my mother suffers from bipolar, schizophrenia, she didn't take her medication, the bitch ain't right in the head, something's wrong with her. Like, I would have done that. I would come out and immediately just start making up lies, because obviously she was off her rocker. Maybe she was sauced up and got a little crazy with the thumbs, or I'd be like, that's cute, my mom's crazy, look at her, hee hee. I mean, but to me, sometimes that's how I would have done it, and I would have been lying through my teeth, and I'd carry it all the way to the grave.
Yeah, and you know what? That's probably what you got a good point. Maybe he should have fucking gone down that avenue with it. Now,
when you're silent in that situation, when a family member or one of your buddies puts their foot in their mouth, he is in a terrible situation. It doesn't make him look good. But let me tell you what, when he goes to the combine and all that, and the good old boys who own these NFL teams are gonna be like, "Yeah, man, your mom want a cheerleading outfit." I mean, they're just
right,
and that leads me to the next. I mean, I hate that it seems like we even live in this day and era, but I sat there on the couch in your house and I looked at you and I said, I don't think the University of Texas is ready for a black head coach.
Now, George, you go into detail what I said to you and my buddy Kerry. I said back, you know what? I said, there's a candidate out there, Louisville's head coach, Charlie Strong, and I said, I'm going to tell you what, if Texas is smart, they will pick this guy up because he is more than a worthy candidate. And you said, and Kerry, who was at Texas for a couple of years, said just didn't think it would happen, you know?
Right. Now, with that said, Charlie Strong is hired and is the new head coach of the University of Texas. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you what, he deserves it. He deserves it all. What he doesn't deserve is people like Red McCombs to come out and say what he said. But then again, when you've donated over $100 million to the University of Texas and you have some pull and you think you should have been consulted when the AD goes out to pick a new head coach, which I'm not sure when boosters became part of the hiring process, but
that is the key point you said. All that you said, as much money as Red McCombs is pouring into that university, just like Boone Pickens pours it into Oklahoma State University. It's coming a time, an age where the boosters and the alumni and the people who are everybody who's in the overall decision-making process are like, you know what? That's great that he's giving us this money, but he's an 87-year-old man. And you know what? As much as he's done for this university and as much of sound mind that we think he is, he's probably not the best person in making these decisions. So we're not even going to give a fuck what he thinks about, you know?
And you know what? I agree with you, and I hope you're right. I hope Strong stays there and wins a national title because, in my opinion, what's going to and look, I don't have a crystal ball, but here's how I see it playing out. McCombs has come out and said, I think the whole thing is a bit sideways. I don't have any doubt that Charlie is a fine coach. I think he would make a great position coach, maybe a coordinator. Like when you make comments like that, that is just, you are removing all doubt that you're a complete jackass and a racist because that's, I think if it was a white coach, he wouldn't have said any of that. And then he goes on at the end of the interview to see, I don't see how they can miss, referring to Patterson, who's the AD at Texas. They can get anyone they want. They can close their eyes and go eeny, meeny, miny, mo and end up with someone good. And you brought up a good point with UCLA. And look, Morris said, take a walk.
Yeah, the problem is, and this is, you know, everybody out there, this is the thing I was explaining to George. There's people like Jim Moore that's saying, hey, I'm taking a walk. And all these other coaches are not. You're going to find out this was the last year where I think you'll see such dominance. You know, I don't think at this point in time no one will break Bear Bryant's record because now all the talent is going to start getting spread out like you see in NCAA basketball. It's going to start getting spread out. I mean, you still have your dominant colleges like Duke and stuff like that in basketball, but you're going to see talent spread out because now there's a playoff system and everybody has a shot. And you see the Gonzagas and the Creighton's and the Richmonds and stuff up. I mean, the VCUs of college basketball and how all of a sudden they're coming into the limelight. You're going to start seeing the Northern Illinois and these other schools in college football doing the same thing, and the talent going, you know what, fuck it, I'll go to Northern Illinois because I know that I could start, and now we could possibly get into the playoff. And coaches are going to say, you know what, I don't have to be at Notre Dame, I don't have to be at Michigan, I don't have to be at Texas in these big ass programs now because I can be at UCLA like more and recruit. And if I win the Pac-10 or Pac-12 or Pac-14 or whatever the fuck you want to call it, I have a shot of getting in and being in the playoffs and taking my team to win the title. So the whole landscape of college football is going to start to change over the next decade. And that's where this guy Combs is thinking like fucking an 87-year-old man. I'm sorry.
Right.
You know, and
now two things, and then I think we can close the lid on this college season. I think the way it's going to play out in Texas, short of Strong winning a national title, he's out before the end of his contract. I think he's going to be out in 2 years, and if he's not gone, what's going to happen is they'll replace the athletic director, who obviously made a decision against the booster, one of the boosters' well wishes, and then they'll push Strong out, and then I think they're going to throw a bunch of money at Chip Kelly, because I think in 2 to 3 years, Kelly will be done in the NFL. And I think that would be a great landing spot for that type of mentality, unfortunately. But I want Strong to stay there and go undefeated for the next 37 seasons.
Well, yeah, and I'd love to see that with him too, because he seems like a stand-up guy and just a good person. But this is a question I'm gonna ask for you real quick before we switch it over to pro football. In college football, now with this playoff system, being implemented and starting next year, do you think coaches will have longer lives or shorter lives? Like, so say, for example, a coach like Charlie Strong, shorter because you're going to
have more opportunity because now one loss won't exactly sink your ship. I think you're going to start seeing, and with that said, how long is it going to be till they expand the playoffs past 4 teams?
I think,
how large will they expand it to? I think they automatically need to double it to 8.
I think this is 2014. Right now, the playoffs will kick off in 2015, the 2014-2015 season, which is next year. At the end of that season and during the playoffs, it'll have such a success, they will expand. They will talk about expansion during the course. It'll be done for 2016, 2017. We'll see an 18 format probably. It'll happen.
I agree.
And
what blew me away this morning as I'm driving into work, they had Bobby Bowden, famed coach at Florida State, has done everything. He said, and I quote, I'm not even going to paraphrase this, the BCS always got the number 1 and number 2 teams correct. I find that strange to believe because not too long ago we had 2 SEC teams playing each other for the national title, and that was 1 versus 3. So I'm not sure how the BCS always got it correct. No, his second point is he thinks the playoff system is okay and people will be clamoring for the BCS back.
I don't think that.
No,